Welcome into our Jump Studios. I'm Rachel Nichols. I'm here with the great Jackie MacMullan, Zach Lowe, Tim MacMahon, and big news first reported by The Athletic. Jimmy Butler has requested a trade from the Timberwolves. Our own Woj is reporting that Butler gave the Wolves 3 teams he will sign an extension with: the Nets, Clippers, and Knicks. Woj is also reporting, though, that Tom Thibodeau has no interest in trading Butler. Listen to this last part. For now. Obviously, the teams he's willing to sign an extension with are relevant because those teams would presumably give up a lot more in trade than someone who would just be getting him for this season. Do you guys think that the Wolves will eventually grant Butler's trade request? Dak, I'll start with you.
I mean, Woj is reporting it right. I mean, Tibbs is coaching for his job. Tibbs wants to win every single game, and they're going to have to pry Jimmy Butler out of his hands, and that's going to require Glenn Taylor coming in and taking literal ownership of the situation and say, we just can't go into the season and risk losing this guy for nothing if we know he's not staying here. And I don't know how long that takes, but I know it's been a long time since we've had a star on an expiring contract traded in like January or December. No one knows how to value that kind of player.
But if I'm Tibbs, I'm saying, remember when Kyrie Irving said he wanted out of Cleveland and they did it? Well, maybe I'm not going to do it so fast. And maybe I'm not going to trade you to the 3 places you say you want to go. And, of course, we know what happens. Then Jimmy Butler says, well, if you do that, I'm leaving and nobody wants to keep you. I think we got a lot more to go here. We know what's going to happen eventually. Jimmy Butler's out of there. And you know what? I don't blame Tibbs for being upset. This is Jimmy Butler now whining his way out of 2 different teams. Almost, you know, I wonder if he's going to be in tears like the way Mark Cuban was in our earlier today.
You know, and Butler is supposed to be a Tibbs guy. And let's be really honest here. You talk about a dysfunctional locker room culture right now. It is very much Tibbs guys versus non-Tibbs guys. And the captain of the Tibbs guys now wants off the boat. This is a huge problem for the Timberwolves, and quite frankly, I think there's probably some folks in the Bulls front office with big smiles right now.
There's no question about that.
They were ripped last year. That looks like a great deal for Chicago.
But if you're Karl Anthony Towns, from what we hear, you're not signing that deal because you have some questions about Jimmy Butler. So now, what about him? And really, doesn't Tibbs have to prioritize Karl Anthony Towns over Jimmy Butler? That's pretty obvious.
There is no question about that. If this was a me or Karl thing, and I don't, it's unclear why he is doing this, right? I mean, there are different theories, and now there's different spin about the different theories, but if it was me or Karl, it's Karl. Sorry.
Of course it's Karl.
Right, although I do want to say, every time I press people, hey, what reporting and details do we have that people are willing to make public about Karl Anthony Towns and Jimmy Butler? And the most I've ever gotten is, hey, we know there's discord, but we can't say exactly what. So that doesn't mean it isn't there. I know things get amplified in this echo chamber, and I think it's important to say we don't know exactly what the dynamic is, but as Tim says, it's clearly not good. And the fact that Jimmy wants off the team is evidence of that.
And what does it say about Jimmy Butler that his 3 teams are the Nets? By the way, a great sign for Kenny Atkinson and Sean Marks, who are rebuilding that team and doing a phenomenal job, but they aren't even close to being there. The Clippers, who I don't think are close to being in there, and the Knicks, who we know aren't close to being there. What does that say about Jimmy Butler?
Because he wants to live in New York or L.A. Come on, Jay.
Well, hold on. But is there not a team in L.A. where he could come and immediately be part of a contender? The 3 teams he picked are major market teams where he could step right in and be an alpha male, but as Jackie said, are not in a position to win right away. And Butler loves, I want to win. I want to win. If you don't have the same mindset, I just can't understand. Well, it sounds like he wants to be the alpha male more than he wants to be on a contender.
But here's the thing. I'm okay with that if it's your free agent destination, or even in this kind of situation where people do have say, sort of kind of thing. My argument has always been, be honest with all of us and everyone around you about what you want and what you are. It is not my job to decide what you should want out of your basketball career. I said this with Carmelo Anthony. It is okay with me if Carmelo Anthony had chosen this summer to go to a team where he got to take as many shots as he wanted. Because if that's how he wanted to end his NBA career, that is up to him. That's not up to me. If he wants to go to a team where he says he wants to go to a championship contender, you better be okay with coming off the bench, because that's what you mean. This same case with Jimmy Butler. I'm okay with whatever he decides he wants from his basketball career. Different people want different things out of their jobs. But you do have to be transparent about what you want. And I guess to some degree he was transparent with Tibbs today.
He was, but it's also not the message we've heard from Jimmy Butler in the past. No. So well, it's a little contradictory.
It could be that hey, I think someone's going to come play with me this summer. I think it's going to be Kawhi or KD. And I don't know. All of these teams that are on his list are going to investigate that. They're going to say, hey, can we figure out, are you actually going to come? Because they're not going to pay Jimmy Butler the 5-year max if they think all these guys are going to say, we're not sure we want to play with him. So that's all part of this dynamic now.
Right. But so then I ask you, if you're one of those premium free agents, is Jimmy Butler a draw for you, or are you a draw for Jimmy Butler?
We're going to find out. But as Tim points out, the Lakers aren't on the list.
Who wants to play with LeBron?
I have a question for you. We got to get going here, but real quick. President, GM, coach, does it work?
No.
Does it work?
No.
Does it work?
Show me the example where it has.
It's tough. It is really, really tough, and we are seeing it unravel right now. Stick with The Jump for daily updates to this developing story. We will be back every day, 3 o'clock Eastern on ESPN.